The start of the year has been great for the gaming industry, with the month of February being especially packed with major updates. From soon-to-be released titles like Elden Ring on the horizon to the news that Borderlands 4 might be closer than we expected it to be. Suffice it to say, there's a lot to catch up on. So what are the headlines gamers should be aware of? From all this and more, stay tuned. First of all, let's talk about the possible release date for Borderlands 4. Fans of the franchise have been waiting since September of 2019 for Gearbox to introduce the newest installment of the franchise. That being said, headlines surrounding the development of the game have been somewhat limited, with some fans even losing hope and wondering if they'll ever set foot on the planet of Pandora again. But it sounds like the latest announcement from Gearbox might finally give fans of the franchise something to hope towards. For those of you who don't know, Gearbox isn't exactly known for a slew of games outside of the Borderlands universe. The developer has tried its hand at becoming a studio that releases a number of titles per year, but other than Borderlands, we've seen properties like Godfall and We Happy Few release, which weren't exactly critically acclaimed. According to reports though, this is something that its parent company, Embracer, wants to change. In fact, a recent earnings call from the parent company revealed that Gearbox will be releasing a grand total of 10 AAA games by 2026, which is crazy considering how Borderlands is the only true AAA franchise that the developer has handled in recent years. But since that's the language Embracer used in its announcement, we'll have to take it at face value. Suffice to say, fans are pretty excited and seem to think that Borderlands 4 is one of those prospective titles. And if that's indeed the case, we should have the anticipated title in our hands by at least 2026. Does this timeline add up when looking at the history of Borderlands releases though? Well, this is hard to say considering the strange history surrounding the release of the various titles of the Borderlands franchise. The first installment came out in October of 2009 and really warmed gamers up to Gearbox as a developer. A grand total of 3 years later, and Borderlands 2 was finally on the shelves. But the wait for Borderlands 3 was so much longer. Believe it or not, but fans of the franchise had to wait around 7 years to finally continue the story arc that ended in 2012. And while the critical acclaim of Borderlands 3 was quite high, gamers were somewhat peeved by the massive wait in between titles. By the sound of things, this wait could be just as long with the release schedule of 10 AAA games by 2026 in mind. In fact, we wouldn't even bet on a release date of Borderlands 4 by 2026, as we have yet to hear a word from Gearbox about the game. It takes ages to develop a AAA game after all, and with so many opportunities to announce new developments across the year, Gearbox have clearly not started the process just yet. It's not just that the developer has to start making the game, Borderlands 4 first needs to be written, and rushing in the world of game development is never a good thing. Just look at what happened to Cyberpunk 2077. So let's hope for Borderlands 4 by 2026, but more importantly, let's not force Gearbox to rush things. In other gaming news, Elden Ring is about to release and fans are ecstatic. It's been a while since From Software released a proper Soulsborne title, after all, with Sekiro Shadows Die Twice not really qualifying as a property belonging to the franchise. And with the release date set for Friday the 25th of February, it goes without saying that fans of the maddening franchise are beyond themselves. For those of you who don't know, Soulsborne is a category of games from Software that are considered to be both rage-inducing and filled to the brim with gaming lore. And by the sound of things, Elden Ring has stepped things up by bringing on Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin to develop its story alongside master creator Hidetaka Miyazaki. Suffice to say, the story of Elden Ring is going to be one for the ages, and it sounds like a lot of the lore will be experienced through item descriptions and character interactions in true Soulsborne fashion. According to those who have already played the game early, it's considered to be a mixture between Dark Souls and Bloodborne, with how much of a mixture depending on what type of player you are. You see, there's a number of player classes to choose from in the beginning of the game, ranging from Vagabond to Samurai. And since each player has the ability to upgrade various aspects of their hero, playstyles are going to differ and present a number of options going forward. In other words, you choose how you want to play. It's really quite simple. But what do we actually know about the release of this anticipated title? Well, as we said earlier, fans can expect Elden Ring to be available for purchase come Friday, 25 February 2022, which isn't too far from January, which was originally set aside for its release before the coronavirus pandemic became a thing. We also know that unlike the Dark Souls franchise before it, Elden Ring will immediately become available on PC, which has many fans excited to finally experience the fantastic graphics that the game is undoubtedly going to present us with. More specifically, you'll be able to buy Elden Ring on PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and last-gen consoles, if that's your thing. In fact, fans of Soulsborne titles who haven't had the time or money to upgrade their consoles from last to new gen will be happy to hear that Elden Ring actually comes with next-gen support. In other words, buying the game for your PlayStation 4 will immediately make it available on PlayStation 5 when you decide to upgrade in the future, meaning you'll never have to buy Elden Ring twice. According to From Software, Elden Ring is by far the most ambitious game the developer has ever had the opportunity to create, with there being some impressive changes gamers will want to know about. For one, it now qualifies as an open world game, which gives fans far more freedom when it comes to exploring the world. But like all other Soulsborne games from the developer, players should be prepared to die. We also have Horizon Forbidden West in the news after being review bombed. Something that's pretty strange considering how the game received critical acclaim a few days ago when critics were finally allowed to play the PlayStation exclusive title early. For those of you who don't know, Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, another PlayStation exclusive game that was released back in February of 2017. Considered by many to be one of the greatest games in the history of the console, Horizon Zero Dawn quickly developed a large fan base which resulted in the game dropping on PC platforms late last year. So it goes without saying that fans were incredibly excited to get their hands on the sequel to this fantastic game, which was released last Friday, the 18th of February 2022. Unfortunately for Sony though, Horizon Forbidden West has been review bombed, leading the PlayStation 5 version receiving an 8.0 user score, while the PlayStation 4 version has a lackluster score of 6.6. This is a far cry from the critical rating of 8.8 that was given to the game on its release, and is no doubt the result of over 720 users giving it a 1 or 0 out of 10 for some pretty strange reasons. Some have taken aims at the graphics of the game, which is curiously considered to be some of the best graphics of the new generation of consoles, while other users have accused the sequel of being woke by suggesting that Sony went on to give the leading lady, Aloy, a beard. This wouldn't be the first time users have bombed a franchise for silly reasons though. There seems to be a war raging on at the moment between those who want more diversity in games and those who want to fight against so-called wokeness. The fact that a small minority of players have been review bombing Horizon Forbidden West is a great example of this, especially in reference to the beard comment. To set things straight, Aloy doesn't have a beard in the game. The graphics of Horizon Forbidden West are so good that you can actually see the transparent hairs on her face. Hairs that everyone has regardless of their sex. Hairs that don't necessarily grow into a beard but show the effects that evolution has had on our bodies. It's crazy to think that some gamers would go this far just to push forward their agenda, but Metacritic has tried to protect games against this now by instituting a 36-hour waiting period for any and all reviews. And there you have it, everything you might want to know about the world of gaming at the moment. What do you think of the review bombing of Horizon Forbidden West though? And are you at all excited for Borderlands 4? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below.